A while ago, I released a video about how I would do the DCEU if I was in control. That video covered the first 7 movies of the DCEU that I would do. We are now in phase 2 of my hypothetical DCEU, and I'm going to tell you guys what the DCEU could have been if Warner Bros. Had planned out their universe better. Also, when I talk about the release dates, these movies were released in a world where the COVID-19 pandemic did not exist. Also, before we continue, note that there will be spoilers for the current DCEU that exists, and if you are not caught up, then you may be spoiled for some things. Without further ado, let's get into Phase 2 of the DCEU. Phase 2 is going to begin with a new character, and that will be Shazam. This is going to be a short one because I love the Shazam movie we already have. Sure, the villain could have been better, but he was fleshed out, and really if there's anything that could have been done better, I don't think it would be from the script department. It would honestly be from the action department because the action isn't super memorable in Shazam, but everything else to me worked great. There is one thing that I would have to change though, so that this movie could fit better into the overall universe, and that is where Billy shares his powers with the siblings. The problem with that moment is when we get to Justice League 2, people will be saying, where are Billy's siblings? Because I'm planning on including Shazam in Justice League 2. And I feel like if they do include the siblings, it would just be too many characters by that point, you know? So the thing I'm coming up with is, instead of taking away that scene because that moment puts in some really good themes for the movie, I will instead be making something where if Billy gives away too much power for too long, he will die, and by the time he finishes fighting, he discovers that he is growing weaker and losing too much energy. Since Billy discovers that his powers are growing weaker, the rest of the Shazam family, they all stick their hand on the stick again, like how when they got the power, they say Shazam, and they transfer the powers back to Billy. This makes sense because we saw the wizard earlier in the movie who gave his powers to Billy died because he didn't have enough power to support both people. Hence the line,
"Say my name so my powers may flow through you."
Billy would also say this just before he gives power to his siblings, so Billy wouldn't go and get his family for backup in future movies unless absolutely necessary, so he doesn't go weak in the middle of battle. Other than that change though, the movie would remain the same because they got almost everything right with this movie, at least for a Shazam film. Also, the post-credit scene where Dr. Sivana sees a caterpillar would be cut because I have no plans for the caterpillar, and Mark Strong also confirmed he will not appear in Shazam 2. Instead, we would get a post-credit scene setting up Black Adam, but just going into Egypt or something. Nothing major, but just a small tease. Now we move on to Wonder Woman Expedition Cheetah. I am someone who didn't like Wonder Woman 1984, and so I want to do something different. The first thing is this movie will take place after Justice League in the present. I plan to make Cheetah the main villain in the movie along with Maxwell Lord, and there will also be no Steve Trevor returning. What I want this movie to be about is Diana trying to figure out who she is. She wants to try and find who she is outside of Wonder Woman. We also have Cheetah here as the main villain, and it will be the Barbara Ann Minerva iteration just like in Wonder Woman 84. For the director, I would try to keep Patty Jenkins because she is a talented director, and if I choose not to give her complete control like she got with 84, then I think we have a winner on our hands. The film starts with Diana working in that museum like she was in Justice League, meaning she is in England, at least I believe that's where she was. We get Barbara visiting the museum, as she is an archaeologist in the comics, so it makes sense for her to want to visit a world-class museum in England, which is where Diana works. Barbara asks some questions about some items in the museum, and it's the beginning of a friendship between these two as they both know a lot about archaeology and ancient stuff. We get then about 5 to 10 minutes devoted to them building a friendship. They probably get some coffee and explore the city of London together a little bit, have a little fun, you know? Barbara ends up really liking Diana as she has a lot of knowledge on archaeology, so Barbara asks Diana if she's interested in going on an exploration to Africa to find a tribe which is said to be protected by a female guardian with the powers of a cheetah. Barbara, Diana, and a small team of explorers go to this destination. The team begins exploring the tribe, and they run into the female guardian with the powers of the cheetah. Soon after, Diana discovers they were being followed, and she tries to warn the team, but before she can, the marauders show up and kill the guardian along with the expedition crew other than Diana and Barbara. Diana sees that she must reveal her powers in order to stop the marauders. Barbara is frightened, and with the aid of a tribal priest named Chuma, the caretaker of the ancient plant god Kartaga, agrees to become the tribe's new guardian once she is offered immortality. The temptation and power is too strong for her to say no to, And that kinda goes back to the themes of the first movie about how humans aren't evil because of one thing. It's just original sin. Diana and Barbara get back to England, and Barbara seems fine, but that won't last long. Barbara has also figured out that Diana is Wonder Woman because of the scene where Diana revealed her powers in the battle with the Marauders. Clues from the Marauders lead to the conclusion that Maxwell Lord sent them in to collect an artifact known as the Cheetah Claw. Lord wants the artifact to sell it to buyers and make more money. The plot is about him doing it for his son, and Max will do anything for him to have the best life possible for his son. Also, Max's son's mom is gone, so Max thinks he can make up for it by getting his son more presents with more money, which isn't true. His son just wants to be with his father, like in Wonder Woman 84. Also, Max has a new wife who is the stepmom of Max's son. The film is mainly about Wonder Woman and Barbara working together to track down Maxwell Lord, and also Diana teaching Cheetah how to use her powers. As the film goes on, though, Barbara is being corrupted by the Guardian because Barbara is not deemed worthy by the Guardian. This is because we saw that she was tempted by the power of immortality, and that was a test to see if Barbara is worthy of inhabiting the female Guardian. If Barbara had said no, then the female Guardian spirit would have gone in, and there would be no curse. The curse is the longer the female Guardian is in Barbara, the more brutal she gets. She gets more wild, and in the end goes full on Cheetah. At the end, Barbara and Diana catch up to Max, and Barbara wants to kill Max, however Diana isn't okay with that. Now if there is another way. Barbara gets angry then with Diana, and then they fight. Diana wins and is able to knock out Barbara. Diana uses the lasso of truth on Maxwell Lord, asking if there is a way to revert her back to Barbara. Max also says there are 2 hours left. Max tells her there is a way, and that they must go back to the tribe and find the priest. This is when Wonder Woman learns to fly. She flies all the way over to Africa, as there have also been times earlier where Diana was trying to fly and failed. Diana then puts Max in prison, and the son gets taken care of by his stepmom. Diana goes to the tribe and finds the priest again. The priest eventually is convinced to help Diana by giving him back the cheetah's claw. When the priest is done with the spell, it's too late. Barbara is stuck as Cheetah. Diana tries to talk her out of fighting, but Cheetah won't have it. We get a longer and bigger battle here in the African tribe area, and by the skin of her teeth, Diana is able to crawl out of this battle, and Cheetah is defeated. In the end, Diana brings Cheetah back to Themyscira, where she is held prisoner. Diana also just lost her friend, so she is going to spend time at the place she is most comfortable, which is Themyscira. She is welcomed back by her mother and everyone else on the island. Then the movie ends. The movie's theme is about choice, and how we always have a choice, as Diana demonstrated when she stopped Cheetah from killing Max. We can also get a choice of Diana choosing whether to kill Cheetah or imprison her. This also goes back to the theme of the first movie, as it's not about deserve. Now for a post-credit scene, we see Bruce Wayne working on something in his Batcave, and is in the end revealed to be the Invisible Jet. This will be used in Justice League 2, but we now move on to Batman, the Descendant. In case you didn't remember, March 18th was the release date of Zack Snyder's Justice League in the real timeline, which was a Thursday, and in this reality, Batman the Descendant would be released on Friday, March 19th, 2021. The basics of this movie is Bruce Wayne taking in his son, who is Damian Wayne. We are going that route, and he is the next Robin. We also have Deathstroke and Red Hood as the main villains of this movie. The scene where Deathstroke finds out Batman's secret identity is cut from Justice League, as it doesn't work for this film's story. The film starts with a flashback sequence of Bruce in the League of Shadows. Bruce and all the other assassins are training, but we get a spar between Bruce and an assassin revealed to be Talia al Ghul, played by Maggie Q, and I'm choosing her because she showed some great fighting skills in Live Free or Die Hard, and the role of Talia is smaller in this movie, so the acting chops don't need to be amazing. I haven't seen much from her, but I don't know how great of an actress she is, so I'm just going to play it a little safe here. We also meet Ra's al Ghul, played by Hiroyuki Sanada, and he's just perfect for this role since he did a fantastic job as Scorpion in Mortal Kombat 2021. We then see a bit of a spark begin with Bruce and Talia. We then cut to 3 years later, where Bruce and Talia have a secret love life. We get a very mild thing in the two sharing love, and hence we get Damian. Bruce finds out that Talia put Bruce under some sort of spell a while back, just like how she mentioned in Son of Batman. This makes Bruce want to leave the League of Assassins, and so he sneaks away. Ra's and the assassins don't later chase after Bruce, because when Bruce leaves, Talia finds out that she is pregnant. Roz sees the next Ra's al Ghul in Damian rather than Bruce, as he can train Damian from the ground up to be the next Ra's al Ghul. Damian will be played by Jacob Tremblay since he's around the right age and he is a very good actor. We cut to 13 years later in the present of 2021. We are still at the League of Assassins, who suddenly get invaded by Deathstroke. We get a cool action sequence of Ra's slicing up Deathstroke's assassins behind shoji doors, which would just look cool. The League puts up a good fight, but they get overpowered by Deathstroke's number of assassins. Deathstroke is doing this because he feels as though he should be the next Ra's al Ghul because he was also trained by him. However, he was shunned because he did not show leadership characteristics. Deathstroke was wanting to take over more ground with the League of Assassins and enable them to grow further, but Ra's thought it was better to just get more members and let them stay where they are. Deathstroke also has the Marakuru right now, which makes him stronger. We get a duel between Deathstroke and Ra's al Ghul, however Ra's is defeated and then murdered. Then Talia and Damian see that they cannot protect the land and instead decide to leave. They sneak off the island as Ra's was the distraction so they could get away. We then cut to Batman taking out some random criminal, then once the fight is done, Talia shows up. Talia then reveals that Bruce has a son named Damian who is with her. Talia leaves Damian with Bruce as she believes Damian will be safer with him and will be better off not on the run from Deathstroke. We then see Damian taking a tour of Wayne Manor and see Damian meeting Alfred. Damian doesn't really care for the place at first, but it's nothing like his previous home, and the rules Damian follows are very different from the rules Bruce follows. We then see a scene where Red Hood gets together a bunch of drug lords in Gotham that work for Maroni, and Red Hood wants 40% of the cut, or else he will kill them and their boss. Naturally, the drug lords see the Red Hood skill set, and they accept these conditions. Maroni is naturally not happy about this. Maroni sends some of his own men after the Red Hood to try and kill him. We then get an action sequence of Red Hood taking down all of Maroni's men. I also have realized that I completely forgot about Commissioner Gordon being in my other movies with Batman. In this movie, he is tracking down who is killing all these people and why the drug lords might be changing their ways of operating things, since Red Hood is practically in charge now. Gordon is here giving Bruce information on the killings, and he sends them the address of one of the smaller drug dealers working for Red Hood. Also, Commissioner Gordon would be in the other movies where I forgot to mention him. My bad. Batman goes to interrogate this guy, and Damian forces himself along. Damian threatens to kill the man if he doesn't tell them who they're working for, and Batman is not okay with this. They get the answer, but Bruce is unhappy with the way they got it, and they have a long conversation about no killing. Then we get a scene of Batman going to Arkham Asylum to talk to Joker and ask him what he knows about the Red Hood, given the fact that he was once the Red Hood. Joker reveals that this Red Hood isn't under control by Joker, and Batman then leaves. About 50 minutes to 1 hour in, we get our first action sequence with Batman versus Red Hood, as Red Hood is about to kill some street criminal. Bruce says Damian must stay at home since he doesn't think he is ready for battle after what went down. Batman begins to fight the Red Hood, but Red Hood starts running away. In the chase, Batman throws out a battering with a rope attached, but the Red Hood breaks it with a knife. Batman is shocked as very few metals can break that rope, and one of them is the one used to make his batarangs. As Red Hood escapes, he says, "Still the same old Bruce." This gives Bruce the idea that Red Hood is familiar with him. We then see Maroni getting more frustrated that the Red Hood couldn't be taken down by his guys, and now he wants him dead more than ever. Also, yes, this movie is basically a combination of Son of Batman and Batman Under the Red Hood, two animated films. One's pretty good, the other is pretty dang great. I really loved Batman Under the Red Hood. Son of Batman was good. Anyways, getting back to the script. We then see Maroni getting more frustrated that the Red Hood couldn't be taken down by his guys, and he wants him dead more than ever. He then takes drastic measures and hires Deathstroke to be the assassin to kill Red Hood, as even though he has other goals, being an assassin is still Deathstroke's job. Damian then sneaks out as Robin to look for the Red Hood. He eventually finds him, and they are in a battle. The battle ends up with Red Hood at the advantage, but he doesn't really want to kill Damian since he's not a criminal, but he will if he has to. He's more of a vigilante. They fight, and then Bruce enters the battle as Batman. Red Hood once again manages to escape, but Bruce is able to draw blood from Red Hood. They go back to base and see that the blood of Red Hood matches the blood of Dick Grayson. Bruce is in shock, and then he goes to see Talia since Damian was told where she is, as he knows this must have something to do with the Lazarus Pit. Once Batman finds Talia, he asks about what happened to Dick. She tells him that Ra's al Ghul was robbing banks so he can gain more money and expand the League of Assassins location, but not to domination like Deathstroke wanted, just a little bit more so there's more space for more assassins. Batman was on his trail, so Ra's hired the Joker to throw him off his scent. The Joker, however, went off trail as he is very unpredictable and went so far as to kill Robin. Ra's had Dick's body dug up and replaced by a fake body. Ra's took Dick to the Lazarus Pit because he felt responsible for the death of Dick. He wanted to make it up to Bruce, however Dick went rogue and became the Red Hood. It wasn't part of the plan. We then get Deathstroke suddenly sniping from afar as he saw Damian earlier and he saw that he was going somewhere. He was hoping this would lead to Talia, and it did. Deathstroke snipes Talia and she is dead now. Bruce and Damian take cover. They search for where the sniper may be and they see Deathstroke on top of a building. He ran out of ammo and is now running toward Bruce and Damian since he knows he's been spotted. He tries to catch them, but Bruce and Robin make it to the Batmobile and they drive back to Wayne Manor. Damian and Bruce have come to terms with one another after they both lost someone they cared for. They now see they must work together properly to take down both the Red Hood and Deathstroke. They make a plan to go on patrol for a night and hope it lures in Deathstroke. However, it doesn't, and instead Deathstroke finds Red Hood. They get into a tough battle and Red Hood knows Deathstroke must have been hired by Maroni. They are in a battle and then Batman and Robin show up for the fight. Red Hood makes his escape and lets Batman and Robin take care of Deathstroke. Sure, Deathstroke can take care of one of them, but not two. With the teamwork of both Batman and Robin, he's taken out. He is then put into prison. However, Red Hood is still on the loose and Maroni hears about this. Maroni only sees one option left, which is to break the Joker out of prison and let him kill the Red Hood. That's what he does, but it eventually backfires on Maroni. Once Joker is out, he soon after traps Maroni and his old workers, who now work for Red Hood. The Joker did this to grab attention of Red Hood. The Joker has tied them up and has poured gasoline on them. Red Hood doesn't really care if they die, and it was his plan all along for Maroni to unleash the Joker. Red Hood calls this a reunion, and then Joker is interested because he doesn't recognize Red Hood. Joker then decides to set the people in the truck on fire. However, within a few seconds, Batman and Robin show up in the jet and pour down some monoammonium phosphate, or however you say that, which is the stuff inside fire extinguishers. This is used to take out the fire. The Commissioner and the rest of the police are watching this all go down on a Gotham City bridge. Batman then uses a grapple hook from the jet to lift up Joker and take him, but Red Hood hops onto the rope and cuts them down into the water. They get out of the water, and soon after, Red Hood tells Batman that if he wants Joker, he must meet him at Crime Alley. Red Hood has Joker tied up in a rundown apartment building and then begins beating him with a crowbar just like how Joker did to him. Batman and Robin get into the apartment building and they see Red Hood with Joker tied up. They get into a smaller fight, but a bit into the fight, Red Hood unmasks Batman. Red Hood then unmasks to make it even, and we see Dick Grayson, played by an older Asa Butterfield, since it's been 6 years since the movie came out. We then see them spread around the room, and Dick pulls out a gun against Damian, however they are too far away to do any attack. Joker is also right next to Dick. Bruce thinks Dick is angry because he let him die, but it's actually because Batman didn't kill Joker. He wanted Joker because he took Dick away from Bruce, who really did care for one another. Dick tosses a gun to Bruce and tells him to shoot Joker, but Batman won't do it. This then changes to Dick putting a gun to Joker's head, and Dick saying, if you won't kill him, then I will, and if you want to stop me, then you'll just have to kill me. Naturally, Joker is enjoying all of the chaos around him, but Bruce drops the gun down and walks away with Damian. Dick shoots Batman, but it misses, and Bruce throws the batarang at Dick, slicing his hand so he can't hold the gun. Turns out Dick has a bunch of bombs rigged in the building, and he starts the timer for 10 seconds. Bruce and Damian try to stop it, but Joker wants the explosion to happen because of his love for chaos, and Red Hood also tries to stop them. The explosion happens, Batman is okay, the Joker is covered in rubble but alive, Damian is in a coma, and Dick is dead. His body is once again found, then buried. This is the end of Batman the Descendant, directed by Matt Reeves, and I would also like to change it so that he directed the previous film as well. We still have a post-credit scene where we see the Joker back in Arkham Asylum, and he meets Dr. Harleen Quinzel, who will soon become Harley Quinn, of course, who was played by Margot Robbie. This sets up future movies, but not the next one, which is Man of Steel, Kryptonians. Whilst Batman the Descendant took the release date of Zack Snyder's Justice League, Man of Steel Kryptonians Rise will take the release date of The Suicide Squad. This movie also takes place the first weekend of August, just like Man of Steel 2. Of course, this movie will also be directed by Zack Snyder. This movie will also introduce Supergirl, played by Samara Weaving, as she is young enough for the part, is a very talented actress, and has a bit of an edge to her which will be necessary for this part, as Supergirl from the comics wasn't always happy-go-lucky like she mostly was in the TV show. She doesn't know Earth, she doesn't know the people on there, as she lost her world. Clark blends in because he was raised as a baby, but Kara came in later as a 21-year-old in this universe. I know in other comics and the TV show she was a teen, but not here. The opening of the movie is Brainiac invading Argo City on Krypton as it was exploding, similar to the opening of Injustice 2. This takes place at the same time Krypton was exploding in Man of Steel in that opening scene, and so Brainiac saw now to be the perfect time to invade. We are following Kara through the invasion. We get Brainiac saying something along the lines of, "For years, I was waiting for Krypton to show weakness, and now is finally the time." He invaded now because Krypton was weak. He was then able to save Argo City and capture it under his will. He now rules Argo City. Brainiac was able to get there and quickly build a force field with his futuristic technology and protect the planet from exploding. And that's how he became ruler of Argo City. But just before the dome was completed, Kara's parents were able to get her into a pod and ship her off to Earth. We get a title card and then cut to Lois giving birth to her and Clark's new son, John, hence reference to Jonathan Kent. We see them in the hospital, and we then cut to Clark and Lois with their new child John visiting Martha a few weeks later. Clark hears something odd and he sees something coming down from the sky. He goes to stop it midair, and when he holds it up he realizes it's some sort of pod. He takes it down to the ground in the field and opens it only to see someone frozen. He takes it out and sees a person in there. He uses laser vision to begin melting the ice. Kara wakes up afraid at first and asks Clark who he is. Clark tells her his Earth name, and Kara then begins to tell him what she last remembered, which was Krypton exploding. Then they have a conversation about how they're both from Krypton, and Clark reveals his name to be Kal-El. Naturally, Kara recognizes it as the name of her unborn cousin at the time. Kal-El explains that the explosion was years ago, and that Kara had been frozen. Then they go to the Fortress of Solitude and see Jor-El. Kara unlocks the secret room to her area of Fortress of Solitude. Kara gets the suit and inspiration from her mother, played by Naomi Watts, as I feel like she has the acting chops, and it's always good to get some big names in there, like what Ant-Man did with Michael Douglas. It's like how Kyle gets inspiration by his father. Superman begins training Supergirl outside with things such as flight and other powers, but it takes her a bit. Then they go out to stop crime. Supergirl gets kinda carried away and almost kills a person, but Superman stops her. After a conversation between Kal-El and Kara about no killing, Bloodsport from the Suicide Squad shoots Kal in the head with a kryptonite bullet. Supergirl sees Bloodsport on the roof, and Bloodsport only had one bullet. The ambulance comes around the corner and picks up Superman. Supergirl catches up to Bloodsport and asks him if he works for anyone. Bloodsport says it was an anonymous assignment. Supergirl doesn't believe him and proceeds to laser off Bloodsport's hand. Supergirl asks him again, and he says he works for Lex Luthor in Arkham Asylum. Supergirl then breaks into Arkham Asylum to kill Lex Luthor, and a bunch of security guards are in between her and Lex. Supergirl then proceeds to savagely beat up these guards for getting in her way. Supergirl then enters the cell with Luthor, and just before she kills him, one more guard shows up and tells her to stand down. The guard is clearly frightened as he is shaking and a slight tear goes down his eyes. Supergirl in the end decides to leave Luthor alone because she saw the pain that she was causing on the guard as she looked into his frightened eyes. She tells him he's only alive because this is what her cousin would want. She then flies away. She then leaves to visit Clark at the hospital. The surgeon was able to get the bullet out of Clark's skull as he was very lucky, and he is then able to heal more with the kryptonite gone. There are a bunch of reporters outside as well, and Lois, her baby, and Martha see this on the news. Clark feels better after a while, and him and Supergirl go back to the Fortress of Solitude. Supergirl sees the ship that was sent by her parents, like how Jor-El sent the Fortress of Solitude down to Earth. Her mother tells her to go to Argo City, and the coordinates are already shown on the ship. Clark doesn't want to leave at first, but Supergirl convinces him about giving a talk to Clark of a what-if scenario, or if he could see his parents again. That sort of what-if scenario. Like, Clark, if you had the chance to see your parents again, you must take it. You would take it. And Clark, he has to agree to that. Of course, Supergirl wants this, and Superman would want this too, and Supergirl doesn't quite see Earthlings as her people, unlike Clark, since she didn't grow up with them. Before they leave, Clark makes a quick stop to see Lois, John, and Martha on the farm, and Clark tells Lois how he is worried about Kara. He says that she is out of control sometimes and one wrong move then she can go evil. Then he says how this could happen to their own kid. Lois replies by saying for one, we don't even know if he has superpowers, and two, that he will be a great inspiration, or he has great inspiration. Clark has to be what Jor-El was for him, teach their son to love, and teach Kara to love. Clark then feels ready to go. They go to Argo City and turns out the ship was all a ploy for Brainiac so that he could invade Earth without any Kryptonians. Superman and Supergirl arrive to the forest field of Argo City. Brainiac's ship outside sucks them in. The ship gets them in and they fight their way out, but when they get close to the ground they realize that all their powers are dampening since they're on a piece of Krypton. Their powers are damaged and then both of them are sedated. They wake up in a throne room with Brainiac played by Ralph Fiennes. He's just a great actor, you know? Brainiac spills the beans about how it was his plan for them to go to Argo City, leaving Earth undefended, and the other heroes are off in their own movies. Supergirl sees that her father, Zor-El, played by Sean Bean, is working with Brainiac in the room on plans for invading Earth and working on some new tech since he is very smart. He also earned the trust of Brainiac over the past years by doing work for him. Brainiac takes a ship to Earth with a bunch of minions so he can invade, and they land in Metropolis. After Brainiac left, there are 2 guards left in the room along with Zor-El, Supergirl, and Superman. Zor-El walks past the guard, then silently punching them and taking his gun. It's Sean Bean, so you'd believe he can take out some minions, you know? He then shoots both guards after punching the one in the face. Zor-El then unlocks Superman and Supergirl using his clearance card. They then attempt to run out of the ship towards the control center so they can turn off security cameras in the building. The trio get trapped in a hall with guards on each side. Luckily for the trio in the hall, there is a glass enclosure holding a metal eater. A metal eater is a Kryptonian beast that is found on zoos, and Brainiac uses them as weapons when he invades now. Also, it eats metal, as the name suggests. Zor-El uses his clearance card to unlock the door of the metal eater's cage. The trio hides behind the door, hoping the beast won't notice them, and the beast then goes on a rampage, killing many guards. The guards on the other side run away because they saw what happens to the other side of guards. The beast sees the trio running away, so it goes after them. They run faster and there's a door that is being shut down by a guard, but luckily the trio slides right under them. The trio takes out this one guard and continue running toward the control center. As both henchmen working in the control center ask for more henchmen, the trio shows up right behind them and shoots them with the guns the other guards dropped. Zor-El hacks the system and turns off all the cameras. The trio each has a gun, and Clark suggests they go for a ship and fly back to Earth to stop Brainiac. They are currently out of the building and are in a depressing looking and controlled society. They then see Kara's mother, Allura Zor-El. Allura sees Kara and the father reunites. Allura even finds out that this is Kal-El, and so it's a big happy moment not just for Kara, but for Superman as well to see that he has Kryptonian family left. Just from behind the family, Zor-El sees some guards coming in to shoot them. Zor-El then pushes them away and he gets shot. Kara and Kal shoot them with the guns they had, and the few guards that showed up died because the security cameras were down, therefore less guards knew they were there. Zor-El had to die because he's played by Sean Bean. I mean, you can't actually be surprised that I'm killing him off, right?
Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
Anyways, then they take Zor-El's clearance card so they can find their ship, since that one already had the coordinates to Earth on it, and they don't know the way back. They find the ship, and then Kara has to say goodbye to her mom, as it's too dangerous for her to go down to Earth with Brainiac, and she is unfamiliar with her powers. They give Allura the clearance card, and it would give them access to the weaponry area, and then the Kryptonians can rebel against the henchmen, as many of them left to invade Earth. Then Superman and Supergirl arrive on Earth and immediately get down to stop Brainiac, who is in Metropolis. We then get a long sequence of Superman and Supergirl shredding a bunch of Brainiac's henchmen and saving many civilians. However, after almost all of the enemies are destroyed, just by the sheer power of these 2 Kryptonians, they have to face Brainiac. We were building up to him this entire movie, and he is no joke. Brainiac just goes nuts on these 2, and he has them both nearly completely defeated. Just before he is about to deliver the final blow to Kara, someone shows up and flies Brainiac into the air with a powerful blow. This is Martian Manhunter, who is set up at the end of Justice League. The 3 of them begin teaming up on him, and it becomes epic, but Brainiac still manages to get the upper hand. All 3 of them go down, and he has Superman in his hands. Brainiac says, "When I kill you, I'll make sure your family goes down too," or something like that. Remember, this is Ralph Fiennes, so he can make anything work. Superman's anger peaks and he goes ham on him. I would compare it most to Superman at the end of Justice League on Steppenwolf, just going berserk. It is just constant hits here and he is about to kill him, but then he stops. Supergirl is encouraging him to kill Brainiac because she believes even if they hold him captive, he's smart enough to think of something else. They don't know where to put him, where the world will be safe, but Superman has grown from killing, so he decides not to do it. He chooses not to kill him, and there is a place in the Fortress of Solitude to lock him up, so they do that. Superman teaches Kara about no killing once more with this moment. They all reunite back at the farm together as a family celebrating their win. Kara still doesn't quite feel like she is doing what she feels is right with her being with Superman and saving people. She needs somewhere she can figure herself out, and Superman knows just the place. He takes her to Themyscira, and they see Diana, who will help her become a better warrior and try to get her to show more compassion to regular humans. That's where the movie ends, but of course we have a post-credit scene. Post-credit scene is we see Bloodsport in prison with a missing hand. Amanda Waller comes up to him and she tells him that she can get him a new hand if he joins Task Force X, aka the Suicide Squad. Bloodsport hears the idea and he responds, "Fuck you!" That's the end of the movie, and now we move on to Flash 2. Scott Derrickson is returning to direct The Flash, The Secrets of Zoom. We're just going to get right into the script here. The film opens with Flash handling a robbery. The robbery is being caused by Captain Boomerang, which sets up the Suicide Squad. This is just Flash handling a smaller time criminal, nothing too crazy. It's just meant to get the film to start off with a bang. Then as Barry is going back to his hideout, he notices that he is being followed. Barry thinks nothing of it because he doesn't see it again, but we see a small glimpse of blue lightning. Next we see Barry and Henry having a talk. It's just about how they miss Joe, but Henry says he will always be there for Barry when he gets out. We then see Barry at his job as a forensic analysis, and we see that they hired a new guy to be Barry's partner. This guy is named Jay Garrick, played by Bill Skarsgård. Yes, Jay Garrick is Hunter Zolomon, and Hunter Zolomon is Zoom. You may be wondering how, but here's how. Hunter killed the Hunter from Earth 1, and now Hunter from Earth 2 is pretending to be Earth 1 Hunter. So yeah, we're doing multiverse. Not a lot, but a little bit of multiverse in this movie. This isn't a deep dive into the multiverse, it's going to be quite minor for the most part in this film, and the multiverse won't be touched for a long time after this film. We then get to a scene where some random person is on a deck over a river. He's just sitting there, and then BAM! A shark jumps out, grabs him with his teeth, and brings him down into the water. Yes, it's King Shark, and I know sharks don't like fresh water, but if this one can go on land, then it can go in fresh water. Okay? We can suspend a little disbelief here. We also see more of a spark between Barry and Iris in this film, as they bond more over the death of Joe. For a while we have Barry and Hunter on a detective case with what's going on with some missing people. And then we see the carcass of one person, and it's clearly a shark bite. Barry keeps investigating with Hunter, and they snap a photo of King Shark hunting. They see the shark has legs, and it's no ordinary shark. Barry prepares to find King Shark, but as the Flash. He's seen Jaws, so he puts some blood in the river to attract King Shark. Of course, it works. Barry tried doing a quick barrage of punches on King Shark, but it doesn't work. Barry doesn't know exactly what to do, but right when he started panicking, King Shark gets struck by lightning. King Shark falls, and we see Jay standing behind him in his classic comic book outfit. However, the lightning bolt wasn't enough. Jay then teaches Barry very quickly how to throw lightning. They try it once, but it didn't work since Barry failed. They then try it on the river, and King Shark goes into the water. They are running super fast on the water in circles, building a charge to throw the lightning. King Shark jumps out of the water to attack, but at that moment both Flashes throw their lightning. King Shark is taken down. Jay sees the government coming to take away King Shark, and so he runs so nobody sees his identity. The government then takes King Shark out of the water with a helicopter. Flash has also left the site to find Jay. Eventually Barry finds Jay, and he chooses to reveal his identity because he feels like he can trust him. Jay and Barry's friendship gets even stronger. Barry feels closer to Jay, and they talk more about Joe. Barry feels like he has someone he can talk to and look up to at the same time, just like how he did with Joe. It feels good for both of them because now they have someone who can relate to their problems. Barry asks Jay about how he has powers. Jay tells Barry about the particle accelerator explosion on Earth 2. He then tells him that Zoom has made it onto Earth 1. He tells him that Zoom is a murderer and is the most powerful meta on Earth 2. Zoom ruled over most metas on Earth 2, and he is the one that sent King Shark. King Shark was supposed to get Barry, but he hid underwater in the river. Barry asks Jay about the blue lightning he saw on the way back to his hideout one night, and Jay tells him it was himself. Jay followed Barry so that he could find the Flash on this Earth. Then Jay was able to get the job because he says he was a forensic analysis on Earth too. Then we go back to CCPD. Everyone at CCPD celebrates the capture of King Shark, and Barry and Jay get special shoutouts. I didn't speak much about Iris, so I'll say her role in the film now. She is a news writer, and she has been covering the Flash throughout the film. As everyone is celebrating, suddenly Jay is stabbed from behind through the chest. It is Zoom! Barry runs out for a second to his hideout and puts on his Flash costume. He is back and is there to fight Zoom so nobody else gets hurt. Barry lures Zoom out of CCPD so nobody gets hurt there, and the fight takes place on the streets of Central City. Flash attempts to throw lightning at Zoom, but we get a really sweet slow-mo shot of him catching it. He then throws it at Barry and gets hit. Zoom takes Barry to his hideout on Earth 2. Barry wakes up injured and sees Zoom. Zoom reveals himself to be Jay Garrick, aka Hunter Zolomon. Barry asks how, but Zoom says he was able to make a time remnant by running fast enough. All this time it was just a trick to get Barry to such a low so that Barry would give him his speed to Zoom. Barry is very frustrated, but he can't do anything because 1. Zoom would beat him, and 2. He's injured. Zoom understands this is a lot for Barry to process, so he gives Barry 24 hours to make a decision. He also gives Barry a device which enables him to go back to Earth 1 made by the Thinker, while on Earth 2 works for Zoom. Barry then goes back home and Iris sees how late it is when he got back. Iris sees all of Barry's bruises and then she puts it together. Him gone all the time, all of the bruises, him saving Iris at the end of the last film, it must all lead to the conclusion that Barry is the Flash. Iris and Barry then smooch. Iris wants Barry to give Zoom his speed so that nobody else gets hurt. Barry says then what? He will just kill more and more people. With the more speed, he will be practically unstoppable. Barry then goes to see Victor, aka Cyborg. He is able to recruit Victor for the fight. Barry then uses the portal hopper, but before he goes in, he gives it to Victor. Barry shows up at Zoom's base and says that he will give Zoom his speed. Barry is in the process of giving Zoom his speed, and just before Zoom gets it, Cyborg shows up for a surprise attack. Zoom, however, sees it coming before anyone due to his heightened senses, and he is able to dodge. Zoom then goes for an attack on Cyborg, but Barry, just in the nick of time, tackles Zoom. Zoom gets up, but Cyborg uses his sound wave attack on Zoom, and through this, Barry throws a lightning bolt, making for a sweet combo. Cyborg then spins around shooting beams out of his arms once again, landing a hit on Zoom. Unfortunately, the Thinker was able to alert everyone of the danger of Cyborg and Flash in the building, so all of the males that work for Zoom showed up. We can get some neat cameos of some not so popular characters in here, such as Man-Bat and Plastic Man. Who knows? You know, there are a lot of mans out there. Anyways, Barry and Victor try to fight them at first, but there were too many of them, so they get out of there. Victor leaves as a diversion with the portal hopper as Flash goes to look for Zoom. Cyborg put a tracker on Zoom when he let out the second wave so he can see where Zoom is. Barry goes to find Zoom and he just sees the blue lightning of Zoom disappear. He goes to investigate and there is nothing there. Barry just runs around everywhere looking for answers and he just keeps running faster and faster. He gets angry and suddenly tracked back to Earth 1 as speedsters can tamper into the Speed Force to reach the speed required in order to enter another universe. Barry sees the tracker and it shows that Zoom is also on Earth 1. Barry goes to where he is and he sees that Zoom is at the prison where Henry is held. Zoom is seen unmasked holding a Henry Allen outside of the prison waiting for Barry as he figured out about the tracker. He wanted Barry to see what he was going to do, and in the process Henry finds out Barry is the Flash. However, whilst Barry is running over, he was able to make his own time remnant. Zoom asks for Barry's speed one last time, but Barry turns him down. Zoom then begins to stab Henry, but Barry's time remnant pushed Henry out and gets killed in the process. Barry then charges at Zoom with a powerful punch. We then see Barry going ham on Zoom with the most brutal we've ever seen him. Barry's anger has never been higher as he was his friend and he betrayed Barry. He also tried to kill many people, including ones he cared about. Zoom is left helpless with the brutality that Barry brought to him. Just when Barry's about to kill him, he sees that he shouldn't, because then that makes him no better than the bad guys. Barry then just decides to spare him even though he wants to kill him so badly. I would compare this a little bit, spoilers for Daredevil, to Daredevil with all of the times that Matt wanted to kill Fisk, but didn't. Barry takes Hunter to Iron Heights and put a power dampener used on metahumans on him. Barry and Henry have a talk about him being the Flash and him just saving Henry. Barry says, "I couldn't lose another father," or something like that. Unfortunately, Henry does have to go back to prison though, and so these two get just a little bit of time together outside of prison, and it's a nice moment. We then see Barry and Iris' love peak with some more smoochies. The movie ends with Barry just running around the city as the hero Central City deserves. The Flash. We will have two post-credit scenes for this movie. The first one will be someone going down into this underground area and it's a lab. We see someone revealed to be inside and it's Gorilla Grodd. We then only hear the voice of Reverse Flash saying, "Hello, old friend." This sets up Justice League 2. We also get a second post-credit scene of King Shark in a prison, and monitoring him, we see Amanda Waller. This sets up the Suicide Squad, but that's not next. Next up is Aquaman. I know some people may disagree, but I personally loved Aquaman. It wasn't perfect, but I thought it was an awesome film, and I felt like it's what an Aquaman movie should be. It's a movie you go to have fun, and that's cool. Instead of telling you the plot of the movie, I'm just going to say what I would change. First of all, get Amber out of there and put in Emilia Clarke, because I think she's a better actress overall. And also the other reasons that I'm sure you most likely know. I found the chemistry between Mera and Arthur in the film to be weak, so some better writing and a better actress can hopefully turn that around. I loved Orm as a villain, and I 100% want to keep him along with Black Manta, who wasn't as cool, but you know what, still pretty cool. Also, the Pitbull rendition of Toto's Africa was completely out of place, and I want it gone. Why would they even put that in?
What the fuck?
Honestly, other than replacing some songs and fixing up the romance, I don't want to touch this film really. I really love the journey Arthur went on, and I love that the film was pure fun, which might be what we need after The Flash, The Secrets of Zoom taking a darker tone. However, we obviously need a post-credit scene. We can keep the one from the actual film, but we will alter it a little bit. Instead of us seeing Jimmy Woo from the MCU talking to Black Manta, it's Reverse Flash and Gorilla Grodd. We see them standing over him, and then it cuts. The next film is finally Justice League 2. Once again, this movie is directed by Zack Snyder. The film opens with a brief recap of what happened in the last Justice League. I think of it in a similar way why MK9 did its flashbacks to show what happened. I know Mortal Kombat analogy is not similar to what's going on, but whatever. We cut now to a shot outside Arkham Asylum. We then see Harley falling in love with Joker on their 10th appointment. They kiss, and then Harley proceeds to find a way to get Joker out of the asylum. They get out, and Harley then proceeds to go crazy like Joker. She then puts on an outfit, and it would be her classic comics outfit with the black and red. We see Joker also training with her for how to use weapons such as a mallet and a bat. Next we cut to the scene of Gorilla Grodd and Reverse Flash in the room with Black Manta. Reverse Flash convinces Black Manta to join so he can get revenge on Aquaman. Reverse Flash then goes to find the Joker, and he is found. They are brought to a secret hideout, and they all agree that a new Legion is formed. We then get a title card. Then we have an action sequence of the Legion of Doom returning to Arkham Asylum to break Lex Luthor out, who is in the most secure cell. We then get a great action sequence of the Legion mowing down all of these guards. It sets a darker and more action-packed tone immediately for the film compared to the last movie we had, which was Aquaman. Then we get a scene where Clark invited the Justice League over just for a barbecue to celebrate his new baby. With the next Justice League movie being Injustice, I want this to humanize the League. I want them to feel like people rather than characters and really build a friendship between one another. The League a little later goes to stop a suicide bomber in Metropolis. The entire team goes since they're already together, so why not, you know? They talk to the bomber. He says he lost his family and he has nothing left. Superman is about to get him to surrender. Flash is paying attention to the bomber, but he suddenly sees red lightning going by him. Then he sees Reverse Flash about to kill the bomber. Flash runs up but doesn't make it in time. The Legion tell the League to surrender, and of course, they don't. The Legion tells them to follow them to a secret hideout. And of course, the Legion was with Eobard Thawne/Reverse Flash in that situation. Then Eobard tells them the future where Darkseid invades. He also explains how he's surviving, which is purely off of speed, like in Suicide Squad Hell to Pay. Reverse Flash tells the League that the League fails to stop Darkseid. The goal of the Legion is to become the new League that stops Darkseid, and they tell the League to just retire. Of course, the League won't do that, so we get into a intense action sequence between the League and the Legion. Turns out the Legion wins. The Legion doesn't want to kill the League, though, as that's not their goal, and Reverse Flash didn't try to get revenge on Flash, seeing how well that went in the last movie they were in. The League is defeated and they are told to go home, which they do. They have no choice, and Flash brings all of them to the hideout, which the League made at the end of the first movie. Also, a subplot I want to add is Reverse Flash has to constantly be on the run because he is cheating death, and therefore Time Wraiths sent by the Speed Force are after him. The team now splits up. Cyborg, Wonder Woman, and Batman stay as heroes while Flash, Superman, and Aquaman retire. Cyborg chooses to stay because he has nothing left outside of his team, as he lost all he had once his dad died. He gained something with the League and he can't lose it. Also, he can't leave as he can only be Cyborg and can't fall back to an alter ego like the other team members. There is no victor and all that is left is Cyborg. Wonder Woman chooses not to quit because she is not the sort of person that gives up easily, and she doesn't really have a life outside of the League. Sure, there's Themyscira, but she helped put together this team, and she wouldn't just give up on it. Batman wouldn't give up on the League because he formed it. Superman leaves to be with his family as he has kind of been wanting it out. Now he has an opportunity and he takes it. Aquaman has a lot to deal with whilst being king of Atlantis, and it's a lot to deal with as he has never really wanted to be a king. He leaves to try and focus and grow to be a king, be the king that Atlantis needs. Flash will retire because he feels burnt out on being the Flash. Barry feels Flash is leaving a mark on him, and as nothing good really came out of being the Flash, he thinks it just made his life worse. You know, with, sure, he made a few friends with the League, but look, his dad almost died in the second film. Of course, you know, his mom died, and because of the Reverse Flash, an enemy he made as the Flash. So, just a ton of consequences came out of this. We get a conference with the League about staying or leaving, and that is when the team splits up. We then see Clark living happily, not worrying about the outside world. Lois and Martha are in support of Clark, as even though Superman will be missed, they will need Clark as well. They just love seeing him happy. We now get the remaining members of the League going to Themyscira to obtain new members. They go specifically to get Supergirl. However, the Legion got a lead on Cheetah, who is being held in Themyscira. All of the League is being sent except for Grodd and Reverse Flash, who stay in the mainland to make sure no other Justice League heroism is going on. Therefore, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg had to be sneaky, so they used the invisible jet, which was set up at the end of Wonder Woman Expedition Cheetah. Diana goes back to speak to Supergirl. They recruit her to join the League and stop the Legion. Kara joins to thank Diana back for her on Themyscira. Now the Legion shows up to break Cheetah out of her containment. The Legion get into Themyscira and ask to take Cheetah out of their hands and nobody will get hurt. The Amazons don't agree and there is a huge battle here. Joker and Harley start mowing down some Amazons with guns, Black Manta is using his lasers, and Luthor is just using Kryptonite against Supergirl. Yes, the League is in the fight as well. Luckily, Harley is able to slip away from the fight without anyone noticing, and she leaves to find Cheetah. Harley gets past some guards and breaks Cheetah out. Batman then realizes Harley is gone and that the fight was just a distraction. However, he realizes this is too late. Cyborg is brutally injured in the fight, and that lets the Legion get away. However, Harley was unable to make it as Wonder Woman grabs her with the lasso of truth. We then see how Joker never really cared for Harley, and kinda just used her to get out of Arkham. Harley is then taken with the Justice League as a prisoner. Batman grapples onto the helicopter, but then it's cut with the Kryptonite sword. Batman glides down to the ground. Next is some scenes with Barry. We see him happily spending time with Iris, and then he gets to visit his father. Henry hears that Barry is out of the game as the Flash. Henry encourages him to go back because he was giving people hope, saying that he needs to grow from all the bad things that happened before, saying it makes him a better hero. Barry sees what he must do. The Justice League sneak around to Metropolis to recruit Martian Manhunter. He agrees because Superman is gone and they need a new protector. We next see Aquaman ruling as king and doing king stuff. Then Mira comes to talk to him about the Justice League. She asks Arthur why he hasn't been with the Justice League in a while, and he says that he left. Mira inspires him by helping him. She helps him with these king duties and will be temporarily in charge while Arthur is gone to help as she is queen. Of course, these conversations will be longer in the movie than they are, as this is kind of just a summary / in-depth pitch. Next up, the remaining League, i.e. Batman, Wonder Woman, Injured Cyborg, Supergirl, and Martian Manhunter. They also do fix up Victor on Themyscira before they leave back to the mainland. The League goes to Philadelphia to recruit Shazam as they know he knew Superman. Mary opens the door to the foster home and Batman says, "So I'm looking for Billy Batson." They also made sure the parents were at home when they came over. Before Billy can agree, the Legion shows up to attack the League. They are ready in full force with Cheetah on the team. The Justice League and the Legion fight, and the League is losing as they have been throughout the film, but they never give up. Just as the darkest hour arrives, there is a glimmer of hope. Early in the movie, Superman realizes he can't not help people, as it's just part of his nature. It's a part of him and he can't give it up. We see a shot in the back with Flash, Superman, and Aquaman standing there heroically, then they charge into battle. The League is getting an upper hand, and finally, the League is being outnumbered. Grodd realizes he can't win and that he has been the puppet for Reverse Flash throughout the entire movie. Grodd betrays the Legion and becomes his own gorilla. Aquaman and Black Manta get into a one-on-one. Aquaman has an opportunity to leave Black Manta as he's left in a situation where he's about to die, but Aquaman chooses to save him. He at the end is turned over to Atlantis and he will be taken care of there. Cheetah is defeated and put back on Themyscira. Luthor is taken to the Fortress of Solitude at the end when he's defeated, as he can't be trusted to be held in any other prison. Joker is defeated and by the end is taken back to Arkham Asylum. The entire Legion is taken down and Reverse Flash is just standing there dumbfounded. The Time Wraiths catch up to him. Reverse Flash gets captured by the Time Wraiths by the end and is taken back into the Speed Force. Cyborg ends with having a kid.
Why would they do this?
Because, he's been kind of lonely, and there aren't many ways to continue on with Cyborg's arc, and so I thought having a kid would actually be pretty interesting, because he has nothing left, he can't really find love. So having a kid might be the next best step. Most likely going to be controversial, but hey, we'll see. Yeah, it's been a while since I wrote this. Having a kid is not the right choice for Cyborg at all. It would add nothing to future movies. It doesn't work for his character. He's not very old. He's pretty young. Just, no. Why did I think this was a good idea? Have him get a girlfriend or something. Just not a kid. Not a kid. Supergirl officially joins the Justice League and has grown a lot since her last appearance in Man of Steel 3. Superman realizes he has to be Superman because it is who he was meant to be, not just according to Jor-El, Jonathan, but himself. He knows that he needs to be Superman. Martian Manhunter is just that one guy that helps out every once in a while and will help when need be. Shazam becomes a member of the Justice League to show how much he has grown since Shazam. Before, he goes from teenage boy to strong and heroic hero, and now he is accepted by all. Aquaman learns that a part of being king is holding friendships with other civilizations and stays true to being a member of the Justice League. Aquaman also makes amends with the Amazons and ends their little feud that they had. Going from someone who didn't want to be a king to someone who becomes the best king there ever was. Barry doesn't grow. He doesn't grow and still thinks kind of selfishly and only helps the team when he needs to. This is the sort of personality that leads to Flashpoint. So pretty much this movie for Barry's arc is kind of like a bridge from Flash 2 to Flashpoint. That's the idea. Batman has grown as a leader for the League and is the character that stays the static because he's what the team needs. Batman is the center of the team and he's kind of like the voice of reason and the leader along with Superman. Wonder Woman goes back to Themyscira, finally to be with people outside of the Justice League. Themyscira has accepted her back, and I would go more in depth with this in Wonder Woman 3. For a post-credit scene, Barry finally chooses to go back in time and save his mom. This is clearly setting up Flashpoint. That's the end of Justice League, Legion of Doom. The last film of Phase 2 is The Suicide Squad. Note, this film would take place after Flashpoint, which would be the beginning of Phase 3, spoilers, because that would take place right after Justice League 2, if you saw the post-credits of that movie, which I'm sure you did, because that was a part of this video. Anyways, The Suicide Squad will be pretty much the same as the movie we already got, not the 2016 version, the 2021 version, to be clear. I really don't want to touch that film as it's the near-perfect calm down after Justice League, but it also has a nice heart. I just love that film and I don't want to change it, so it may be an anticlimactic end to the video, but for me, it works as the end of Phase 2. This movie really was set up briefly throughout the films of Phase 2, and finally it culminates to this, not Justice League, The Suicide Squad. Thank you guys so much for watching this ridiculously long video. Okay, I know it took a long time to get this video out there, and I'm sorry it took so long. It's just, I don't know, a lot of stuff has been going on, and I've been working on other videos, and just, I don't know, part of me was I wasn't really feeling much inspiration on what to write and things like that, and honestly, I'm not even sure I'm that proud of what I came up with for most of the stuff here. and I'm kind of worried to see your reactions. I'm worried I might disappoint you guys or something, because I know the part 1 to this series is by far my most popular video on the channel, and so I'm sorry if I disappointed you guys. I'm sorry I made you guys wait too long, but here it is. I still put a lot of work into here, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it more than anything. I just really hope you guys liked the video. I hope you guys appreciated it. Also, shout out to my friend. He did the Batman segment. That's why it looks so much better than all the other segments in the video. And yeah, well, I'm not gonna do it the way he did it because he used an unreliable editing program. It was crashing on him a lot, so I'd rather just stick to what I have personally. That's just me though. So just please leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Look forward to more content you'll be seeing on this channel. Phase 3 is likely far away. If you saw how long it took to take out this version, Phase 3 is probably going to have more movies. So yeah, Phase 3 is going to take a long time. But just, I hope you guys enjoyed. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Goodbye.